You are viewing the movie version of our training program. Each of the slides are timed and will advance on their own. All slides are accompanied by audio of the information on the screen. There may be a written test at the conclusion of this video. When loading a customer's car, it is important to take care with certain products. Items such as bleach can damage a car seat and should be placed in the trunk or on the floor. Make sure all items are secured. When handling a cart, you should always check the cart for damage. Sharp edges, wheels, and handles can cause injury. All damaged carts should be reported to management and taken out of service to be repaired. When arriving or leaving work, keep your eyes open for hazards. Potholes, trash, and car fluids can cause injury to employees and customers. Employees should retrieve any trash found. All potholes or excessive fluids must be reported to management. Always pay attention when crossing the parking lot. Cars may be driving fast or not paying attention. If you observe a reckless driver, obtain the car description and report it to management. Quiz. When loading a customer's car, you should A. Take care when loading liquids such as bleach and secure all items. B. Place all liquids on the floor. C. Let the customer load their own groceries. The answer is A. When loading a customer's car, always take care with liquids and be sure to secure all items to prevent movement or damage. Front end safety. If your store is equipped with automatic doors, they must be inspected daily. Malfunction could cause an accident with possible injury. If the doors are operating improperly, report them to management immediately. As the weather changes with the seasons, we still face the same problems. All types of moisture on the parking lot will be tracked in by customers. This creates an opportunity for slip and fall accidents. Always be aware of the weather conditions so proper precautions can be taken. Floor mats and rugs are important in reducing slip and fall accidents. Mats and rugs should be in good condition. Rough and rolled edges can be just as dangerous as water on the floor. A mop bucket and wet floor sign should be kept close to the front end for cleanup purposes. Anytime there is a spill on the floor, a wet floor sign must be placed in the area to notify customers of the hazard. When starting your shift, a check stand inspection should be completed. Begin with a walk around the stand to identify any floor hazards or sharp edges on the stand itself. Report any problems or hazards to management immediately. Check all scanners, belts, and electronic equipment. These checks will help maintain safety and efficiency of your equipment. If your equipment is not operating properly, report the problem to management. It is also the checker's job to inspect carts as they pass through. A visual scan of the cart can help reduce the number of damaged carts in use. All damaged carts should be removed from service and reported to management. Quiz. Automatic doors and check stands should be inspected daily. All problems should be reported to management. Is this true or false? The answer is true. Both automatic doors and check stands should be inspected on a daily basis at the beginning of your shift. If you notice a problem, report it to management immediately. Sales floor. As you walk through the store or work on different aisles, you should visually inspect the shelves. Be on the lookout for sharp edges or damaged shelves. Sharp edges can snag customers. Improperly or damaged shelves can cause products to fall, resulting in a loss or injury. When stacking or stocking on the sales floor, never block an electrical panel or fire extinguisher. Access is necessary at all times. All pedestal or aisle stacks should be at least 36 inches tall for visibility. Stacks should be no taller than 60 inches to prevent fallover. All glass items in the aisle or on a shelf should be stacked upright and no more than 2 high. All frozen food and dairy cases should be inspected on a daily basis. During your inspection, you should look for sharp edges or snags on cases, cracked or broken glass on doors, and proper case temperatures. Assure stacking is safe and no items are overstocked. This will reduce the possibility of items falling out or onto customers. Quiz. When walking the sales floor, you should inspect what? A. The floors for spills, trash, or debris. B. Shelving for snags, improper stacking, or stocking. C. Cold cases for snags, burned out lights, proper case temperature, cracked or broken glass, or D. All of the above. The correct answer is D. All of the above. When walking across the sales floor, floor condition, shelving, and cases are all areas you should review for any problems or hazards. When working in a walk-in cooler or freezer, all items should be stacked organized and neatly. Sloppy stacking can cause an employee or vendor to become injured. Heavy items should be stacked low on a bottom shelf. Heavy items can crush boxes below or be hard to retrieve from high locations. All walk-in cooler and freezer floors should be kept clean. Ice, water, and debris can cause an employee or vendor to slip and fall. Ice or water buildup should be removed immediately. Walk-in coolers and freezers' electrical systems are important. All lights and switches must be in working order. All bulbs must have a protective cover or be replaced with shatterproof bulb. Any lighting or electrical problems should be reported to management immediately. Quiz. Walk-in coolers and freezers should be kept A. Neatly stacked with heavy items on the bottom, floors clean, ice buildup removed, and lighting maintained, or B. Clean, heavy items stacked on top and inspected monthly. The answer is A. Neatly stacked with heavy items on the bottom, floors clean, ice buildup removed, and lighting maintained. Slips, trips, and falls are a huge part of every grocery store. When you discover a spill, do not leave the spill unattended. First, call for help and secure the area. Second, determine whether a mop, paper towel, or broom will be sufficient to clean up the spill. Lastly, a wet floor sign must be placed over the area if the spill was liquid. If you are witness to an accident or are called to an accident, call a manager immediately. Always be courteous and helpful to the injured party. Here are some things you should never do. Never apologize, admit fault, or argue with an injured customer. Never discuss the accident with strangers now or later. Do not refer the injured party for medical attention, unless they are unconscious or unable to communicate. Never offer to pay medical expenses. Never disturb the scene of an accident until the investigation has been completed. Quiz. When discovering a spill, what actions should you take? A. Never leave the spill unattended. B. Secure the area and call for help. C. Determine if a broom, mop, or paper towel will be sufficient to clean the spill. D. Place a wet floor sign over the area. Or E. All of the above. The answer is E. All of the above. Never leave the spill unattended. Secure the area and call for help. Determine if a broom, mop, or paper towel will be sufficient to clean your spill. And always place a wet floor sign over the area to prevent someone from slipping and falling. Cleanliness in the food preparation area is very important. A floor inspection should occur on a regular basis. Inspections should include the meat, seafood, produce, and dairy areas to ensure cleanliness. You should always pick up, clean up, and mop up your area. Every walk on the floor should also be an inspection. Remove any foreign items you see. Sweep all debris, trash, and mop up all liquids to help prevent a possible accident. Fire protection in your store is very important. You should recognize the location of all fire extinguishers. The type ABC fire extinguisher is the most common in grocery stores. The ABC fire extinguisher can be used on all types of fire except for cooking fuel. The Type K fire extinguisher can be used in a hot oil or cooking fuel fire only. In the event of a fire, you should call 911 immediately. Proper operation of a fire extinguisher is very important. The diagram on the screen explains the pass method. Pull the pin, aim at the base of the fire, squeeze the lever, and sweep from side to side. If you do not feel comfortable using a fire extinguisher, you should not do so. You should become familiar with all exits in your building. All exits should be marked and lighted with illuminated signs. Exits are to remain unlocked during business hours. Recognize the location of all exits and their signs. Smoking is only allowed in authorized areas. Ask your manager if smoking is allowed. Report any unauthorized smoking or butts that are accumulating in unauthorized locations. Quiz. The ABC fire extinguisher can be used on A. All types of fire, B. Cooking and hot oil fires, or C. All fires except cooking oil. The answer is C. All fires except cooking oil. The Type K fire extinguisher is used for cooking and hot oil fires. A carbon dioxide extinguisher can be used on flammable liquids and electrical fires. Quiz. What are the steps to operate a fire extinguisher? A. Pull the pin, aim at the base, squeeze the trigger, and sweep back and forth. B. Aim at the base, squeeze the trigger, pull the pin, and sweep back and forth. Or C. Squeeze the trigger, pull the pin, aim at the base, and sweep back and forth. The answer is A. Pull the pin, aim at the base, squeeze the trigger, and sweep back and forth. This is known as the pass method. Each store will have their own dress policy. Proper attire is important in a safe workspace. Some jewelry may not be appropriate for your workplace. Dangling jewelry can get caught in machinery and cause injury. Watches, bracelets, and rings may become damaged handling product. Loose, baggy clothing and even neckties can get caught on corners, doors, and shelves. These situations may cause injury or harm to employees. Store attire is determined by management. Always check with management for individual store rules on attire. Sandals and open-toed shoes should not be worn to work. Workers in wet areas should wear shoes with slip-resistant soles. All workers should wear rubber-soled shoes to reduce fatigue on legs, feet, and back. There's a few things you should know when working in the produce area. Never overstock the produce. Loose produce on the floor can result in a slip and fall accident. After stocking, all trimmings should be removed from the area. Rugs and mats can catch runoff water. Keep the floor area dry. Produce watering can be manual or automatic in your store. The area below the produce must be kept dry. Rugs and mats are designed to catch overspray and runoff from wet produce. Anytime the floor gets wet, a wet floor sign must be placed in the area. Automatic watering systems must be monitored for correct spray patterns or possible malfunction. If you notice a malfunction, report the problem to your manager. Quiz. What hazards should you look for while working in the produce area? A. Outdated produce, proper pricing signs. B. Produce trimmings, overstocked produce, water on the floor, and damaged rugs. Or C. Blemished fruit, proper placement, and clean scales. The answer is B. Produce trimmings, overstocked produce, water on the floor, and damaged rugs. The other answers are also things you should look for, however, they are not considered hazards. Make sure you have the correct personal protective equipment for your job. There are many types of personal protective equipment in a grocery store. Gloves for unloading, meat cutting, or cold handling. Cold gear for working in coolers or freezers. An apron in the food preparation areas. And a hat or hairnet might be required for food prep. There are several types of box cutters used in the grocery stores. A box cutter is for case cutting or opening boxes. Razor blades, pocket knives, and all other objects are not to be used at work. Blades should be changed regularly to avoid snags and possible accidents. Always cut away from your body when using a box cutter. Retract your knife blade when not in use. A damaged box cutter should not be used. If your knife is damaged, get a replacement immediately. Quiz. What safety precautions should be taken when using a box cutter? A. Blades should be kept changed regularly to prevent snags or breakage. B. Always cut away from your body. C. Keep the blade retracted whenever the cutter is not in use. Or D. All of the above. The answer is D. All of the above. Blades should be changed regularly to prevent snags or breakage. Always cut away from your body. Keep the blade retracted whenever the cutter is not in use. Lifting injuries occur often in grocery stores. Safe lifting is very important. All unfamiliar items should be reviewed by the handler. Much of the freight received can be heavy or awkward and may require assistance. A team lift can be a useful tool when lifting heavy freight. Lifting with another employee greatly reduces the risk of injury when handling heavy or awkward freight. The team lift may take a few more seconds to complete, but can save a lifetime of injury. The path of travel is just as important as the product you're carrying. Always scan your path of travel. Look ahead. Clear any items that could cause a misstep or trip and fall. Lifting injuries can be caused by several things. Here are some of the most common things that cause injury. Bulk item handling, pushing or pulling palletized loads, forceful exertion with the hands or arms, an awkward posture of the upper body, reaching above the shoulders or behind the neck, repetitive or prolonged activity, prolonged standing reaching across a counter. When lifting any item, you should follow proper lifting procedures. The procedures are as follows. Get close to the object. Determine the object's weight for a proper lift. Bend at the knees, not the waist. Use both hands for a good grip. Keep close to your body. Lift with your legs and not your back. Pivot with your feet and do not twist. Quiz. What are proper lifting procedures? A. Never bother another employee for help. You should be able to lift by yourself. B. Get a good grip. Bend at the waist. Lift with your back and twist when necessary. Or C. Get close to the object. Determine the weight. Bend at the knees. Get a firm grip. Keep the object close to your body. Lift with your legs. Pivot with your feet and do not twist. The answer is C. Get close to the object. Determine the weight. Bend at your knees. Get a firm grip. Keep the object close to your body. Lift with your legs. And pivot with your feet, but do not twist. There are different material handling aids used in your job. Pallet jacks are for transporting palletized loads or moving empty pallets. Never ride or pull someone else on a pallet jack. Store the jack with the forks under a pallet and out of the way. Pallet jack maintenance is also important. The wheels and hydraulics must be maintained to ensure proper operation. Your store may have a powered jack. The motorized jack is a helpful tool but can be equally as dangerous. All personnel must be trained and certified on proper use. A safety check should be completed daily. The jack should be stored and charged out of the path of ongoing work. The forks should be kept under a pallet to prevent trip and fall accidents. There are many types of carts and dollies used in the grocery business. Choose the right cart for your job. Determine the type of freight, weight, and area you are going to be stocking in. Always inspect your cart before loading it. Look for sharp edges, make sure your wheels are operating properly, and you have the right load capacity. Carts and dollies should also be stored out of the way of employees who are working. Quiz. You should never ride on the pallet jack forks. Leave a jack in the aisle or use a damaged jack. True or false? The answer is true. You should never ride on the pallet jack forks. Leave a jack in the aisle or use a damaged jack. Backroom cleanliness is important. A clean backroom is just as important as a clean sales floor. Trash, empty pallets, and loose shrink wrap can impede the work process and create a trip and fall hazard. Keep your area clean. All fire exits must be kept clear in case of an emergency. All exits should be marked and unlocked to allow egress. If an exit in your area is blocked, remove the product and notify the manager. The baler is for cardboard only. You must be 18 years old to operate the baler. If you're under 18 years old, you may not load or operate the baler. The baler guard is designed to keep hands and arms away from the crushing mechanism. If the baler operates without the guard in place, notify your manager immediately and discontinue use. Some areas in the store are for authorized personnel only. The motor room often doubles as a storage area. This is not the purpose of the motor room and should not be used in this manner. The running motors generate a significant amount of heat. Combustible items are a fire hazard. The motor room is for authorized personnel only. You will know if you are authorized. Quiz. Which of the following are true about backroom safety? Exits should be kept clear and unlocked. All trash and debris should be kept off the floor. Choose the right dolly or cart for the job. Exits should be kept clear. Trash and debris should be picked up at the end of your shift. Any cart or dolly will do the job. The answer is true. Exits should be kept clear and unlocked. All trash and debris should be kept off the floor. Choose the right dolly or cart for the job. In the event of an injury, your store is equipped with a first aid kit. All wounds should be cleaned and disinfected to prevent infection. All accidents and injuries must be reported to management immediately, regardless of severity. The reporting procedures are required to comply with OSHA regulations. Quiz. What steps should you take if you are injured? A. You should get a Band-Aid and return to work unless you need medical attention. B. The wound should be cleaned and disinfected. The injury or accident should be reported to management. Or C. Keep working until your next break. Clean your wound and return to work. The answer is B. The wound should be cleaned and disinfected. The injury or accident should be reported to management immediately. Thank you for participating in Avant Supermarket Group's General Supermarket Safety Program. For additional safety information, contact our safety department at losscontrol@avantsupermarketgroup.com.